How is everybody?
Hello. I feel like our intro that we have, I feel like someone's always going to come and rap on it.
Wait for somebody. Hopefully this is the last week without a real intro. Hopefully we'll film something this weekend. Maybe something. So that should be exciting. But for those of you who are here, welcome to episode 3 of the Dynamite Book. Tonight was the go home show for AEW Full Gear. There was lots of messiness to discuss. But before we get into it, how are you today, Will?
You know what? I'm feeling great.
You know?
I'm ready for the weekend, ready to see what Full Gear brings. Tony Khan is saying that he has signed someone new, someone that like all AEW fans are going to
Uh,
respect.
we're going to get into that. We're going to get into all the things. I'm
Yes.
excited to, first of all, it has nothing to do with AEW. I'm just excited to leave home for a while. Like, I can't wait for an espresso martini to be in my hand. Ah, can't wait. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into tonight's card. So there were a lot of things that took place. We're going to start off with the opener for tonight, which was John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta versus Orange Cassidy and Hook. At this point, AEW doesn't feel like AEW if the show starts without Orange Cassidy.
Truly.
So these guys killed it per usual. And it looks like we're heading towards a Hook and Yuta match, probably on 0 Hour, I'm assuming. But yeah, I don't have any too big strong feelings about this. Like, it was great, but like all their stuff is great. So
Yeah, I hope they do add Yuta versus Hook to that 0 Hour. I mean, we only have one match announced so far for 0 Hours, so they definitely do need to stack that card up. I would think that they would probably announce more matches on Rampage as well as Collision, but I think this would be a solid one. We haven't seen Yuta challenge for a title in a while, and Hook has been FTW champ for a little bit, so I think Yuta would be the perfect competitor for him to go up against. You have two of the younger talent in AEW fighting it out for the FTW championship. I think Tony put it on the card.
absolutely. And they've been doing a really great job, I think, of keeping this FTW belt amongst a lot of the younger competitors. And so I think it's a great decision for 0 Hour. It looks like it's heading that way. And of course, we have Mox versus Orange Cassidy 2 going to happen in Full Gear. I'm so excited for this match. Like, whenever Orange Cassidy forgets himself and just becomes this crazy killer all because of John Moxley, like, that's my brand. That's my brand. Like, they do this for me. They do this for me. And so I'm just very ecstatic. Like, Orange Cassidy coming through the crowd, like, his character development over the last couple years has been chef's kiss. You used to be, you couldn't pay him to get up half the time. And now he's just going out and just trying to kill everybody. It's beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
You know, I feel like he needs that vacation. That's why he's so aggressive. He needs to be in a spa somewhere, get a little
These,
massage.
these are two men who don't want vacations.
Child, they need one. Sometimes you don't want one, but you need it.
You know what? And I don't think I've ever loved a job that much. I look at them and I'm just like, wow, I want to be that passionate about. I truly want to be that passionate about something one day, to where it's just like, you offer me time off and I don't take it. Like, I can't. I've never felt that, never experienced that emotion. But I would love to know what y'all think. Like, I would love to know what that feels like. But then again, I don't, because I don't want to work. To be fair, I don't want to work. So more power to them. More power to them. But moving on. Whew. I was, by this point, I felt like I was zooming. I knew this was going to be great. Like, I knew this was going to be great. But butter my biscuit and put me in the oven. I'll be damned. I will be damned.
That's a new one. I have never heard that one before.
The South Carolina just popped out of me. It just popped out. But this was listen, y'all, you kids call a lot of stuff cinema, but this right here, cinema.
This is getting personal. This is very personal. I mean, once Adam Page came out in that all black last week, I knew that it was a new cowboy on the block. Not new boot goofing, new outfit goofing. He is in a different mindset, and that fire that he brought to that mic tonight, I was just
that's
like,
why your wife left you, why your fiance left you, that's why your kids don't talk to you, that's why you got fired from your last job. And yeah, I'm talking to you, and Nana, your ass want to laugh too. Guess what? They ain't say I could touch you. It was very much.
but he was gonna steal his weed.
Steal his weed. Now he said, and you be buying from the high school kids. I said, oh my God. Oh my God. He said, I'm going to steal your weed. The Cowboy said he's going to steal your weed. This got very, very Bad Girls Club reunion really fast.
Yes. Look at Adam Page. He been watching his Bad Girls. You know what? He been watching Love and Hip Hop. I already know it.
No, it reminds me of Bad Girls Club season 9. And do you remember when my girl was Megan was sitting there with that juice? Megan. She was sitting there with that juice, and she said, "You know what? I just squashed my beef with Rima. I'm cool with Rima. Okay, we just talked it out. My beef is with all the bitches on this couch." And then proceeds to throw the cranberry juice and beat her ass simultaneously.
Lord Jesus.
That was what I got off of Hangman Page, and be like, you know what? I can't touch Swerve. You're absolutely right. But Nana, when I catch you, Nana, it's a wrap. And then, like, when he said, yeah, he's just piggybacking off of you. All he do is dance after behind your back. And then when he started dancing behind his back.
Jesus. This was so well done. And I'm telling you, sometimes when Adam Page gets that limit, he gets to it and he goes to it. This is not the first time that we've seen him cut a promo like this where it's just like, damn.
He's one of the only people in wrestling that really makes me feel what he's saying. Like, I think a lot of people can talk well, but like, he's one of those people. Mox is one of those people. Eddie is one of those people.
Oh, yes.
Mark Briscoe is one of those people to where when they talk, I feel them. I think, like, I can feel where they're coming from. Like, I would like to also say to everybody who said, Hangman ain't this, Hangman ain't that, Hangman can't talk, Hangman can't boring, you're dumb. You're a liar. You were brought to trial today and you lost. How does it feel to be that embarrassing? How does it feel? I don't know. I could never live with myself if I had a take that bad. But there's favor and there's mercy for all of us. And like he said, he is the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Bad bitches for Hangman. I don't know what else to tell you.
There it is. Bad bitches for Hangman. I am so looking forward to this match. I mean, I know they faced off before, but there is just there's another type of intensity involved now. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think both competitors are going to bring a lot to the table. And I think we need to keep our eye on Nana. I really do.
I think this is going to be really great. And it's also very interesting from the context of, if you are up to date with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Gates of Agony were just announced to go into World Tag League. So for the next few weeks going forward, we're not going to see them because they won't be in the country to be Swerve's muscle. So this feud obviously probably isn't ending this weekend. And so it's going to be interesting as they enter like that third chapter of, okay, how are they going to be matched up when Swerve doesn't have his extra muscle? So there's a lot of different like.
Well, don't count out Brian Cage. I mean, Brian Cage is still a part of
he was just
Mobile Embassy. Yes. So, don't count him out. He's very much the muscle, and we haven't really heard. I mean, we saw him tonight, but we haven't seen him involved with Mobile Embassy, Gates of Agony in a minute.
Well, if you heard on commentary tonight, we'll get there, is he might be there might be people who are actually trying to employ him, for his services. I will say, how do I say this? I don't think Brian Cage is as good of a fit in the Mobile Embassy anymore, just because they have these crazy big men. They're great. He doesn't 100% click. Like, that's why I felt like the Big Bill tag team made a lot of sense, but then like now Bill's with Ricky. And then like I thought that would have been a great space for him. Or even today, like I think he looked really good in that street fight. For some reason, like, that dynamic look really worked. That weird patchwork quilt of a match, but it worked. It worked.
It did, yeah.
We're gonna get there. So I don't know. It's a lot of interesting stuff happening with the Mobile Embassy. But this match right here, I was fortunate to be in the building for the first one. I'm gonna be fortunate to be in the building for the second one. And God is good. Like I will say, this feud was truly for the bad bitches. If you didn't feel something during this, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. They gave it on a platter.
Looking forward to this.
There's that on that. Moving forward, we had the girls. Let me tell you something. I don't know who Red Velvet was in the lab with while she was injured. I don't know who she was in the lab with. She must have been in there with Manami Toyota, and I'm talking about. She must have been in the booth. She was in the booth. She was in the stew, because this is not the same wrestler we saw earlier this year. And not saying she was ever bad. Not saying that she was ever bad. But goddamn.
She has really been showing up and showing out these last couple matches that she's had. And she's gotten better. Like, even though she was out injured, she really has improved a lot. And I think it showed tonight in this match against Sky Blue, as well as the other matches she's had since she's been back.
Absolutely. Like, I think that she is very clear. Like, I think, and maybe it's because like we saw her for a long time. Like, she was just kind of like a background player.
Yeah.
But I love when people, like, one of my favorite things is like when people come back from an injury or a hiatus for certain reasons, and like we don't hear them speak, but they make statements through their wrestling. Like, I think in-ring storytelling is the best storytelling. And like seeing her like make a statement with her wrestling of just like, nah, I'm here. Like, y'all not gonna forget about me. Like, a lot of people been talking about who coming, who this. Y'all not gonna forget about me. Like, I love that. Like, I love that specifically in women's wrestling, to make such an emphatic statement with your wrestling and your wrestling alone. Like, and I know a lot of people are mad that she didn't win. I'm gonna be honest, I would have loved to see her in it, but she just returned. It makes sense. Like, they need to wrap up the storyline that's already happening before just trying to throw other people in, because a lot of times that does happen with AEW. They just be throwing people into storylines, and just keep it moving. So like, Sky winning was not the upset here, but I will say everybody knows who the real star of this match was, and I'm very excited for Red Velvet 2024.
I think with the matches that she's been having after this CBS title eliminator match at Full Gear, maybe we see her in the title picture. I mean, it's not like she wouldn't be a great competitor to go up against whoever wins this TBS title match, whether it is, Chris Statlander retaining or getting a new champion in Sky Blue or Julia Hart.
I think so too. And also with AEW now recently announcing the Continental Classic for the men, it's going to happen. Like, I think it's a great idea for something that they could possibly run at the beginning of next year for the women. Like, they have the roster for it. They have the talent for it. Red Velvet is proven like she's a person who definitely needs to be in that picture. I think it is a great way. Like, that's how you can bring Athena back into the fold. That's how you can bring back Jamie Hayter. Like, really establish the priorities for the division. Like, these are the hoopers. These are the storylines. Like, I think that would be great. And I think that both of these women should be in the tournament, but definitely Red Velvet.
Agreed. I think a tournament would be great. We talk about it every week, and the timeline talks about it every week. We need more women's action. There should not just be 1 to 2 women's matches on your card for a pay-per-view or a weekly show, or, whether it's a match and a segment. You know what I mean? We need more women involved, and I think that Eliminator or, that classic would be perfect for something for the women to do.
Absolutely. I think it gives not just AEW a chance to put their money where their mouth is, but it also gives, I think, the fans opportunity to put their money where their mouth is too. Like, if you're getting like a great tournament of women's action, people need to support it. Like, there's going to be plenty of great content. So I think that it will be a learning experience and a test for us all, for everybody to be about women's wrestling like they say they are, period. And so moving on, we had another women's segment. We had Mariah May got RJ City to let her meet Toni Storm. I will say, let me tell you something. Obviously, I'm biased, but Mariah is killing this TV wrestling thing. Like, you would have thought she's been doing this for years. Like, she's a very emotive character. She's very charismatic, and like this is the perfect spot for her. Like, and then for it to have on the door not Toni Storm. Every time Luther opens the door, then it goes black and white, then it goes to color, then it goes back to black and white, then it goes to color. Then she comes in there. Tony's out, laying out. And
Toni looked like she was at Bottomless Mimosas earlier. The way she was laid out, like she was just like, "Ah,
my girl was done." She said, "Why? She don't even got a match."
Today drained me.
Today drained me. She said, just like Marlo, today drained me. I said, "Oh my God, Toni, you don't even got a match tonight." Like she said, "I need my beauty rest."
It's tiring being a bad bitch.
It is, and you know, and she said, "Write down that information, Luther." That's how
making his check.
That's how Whitney Houston used to talk about Luther Vandross.
Yes,
one Luther. So I just think that was hilarious. Those two. I think a lot of people have been speculating of what this could mean. Like maybe Mariah helps Toni win, but honestly, I think that Mariah should accidentally cost Toni the victory. I think
I was thinking that too. It would be on par to kind of how Mariah has been acting. Like, oh my God, I love Toni Storm so much. Like, I need to talk to Toni Storm. Toni. Not the band. But if you're cultured, but I think having her come out somehow costing Toni that opportunity, she could be like, well, I'm still your fan, Toni. I still love you. If no one loves you, I love you. They could tell the story so well. And I feel like these two, they have really good chemistry together.
Absolutely.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens Saturday. If Mariah does get involved, or if she doesn't, what if Luther gets involved?
Luther's scared to move, you know? You got him scared. He's sitting in the corner. So I think it's going to be a really great match. I think one, Sheeta and Toni have great chemistry, but then two, I think this is just a really great matchup to bring Mariah into the fold in front of a big pay-per-view crowd, because this is going to be her technical first time in front of the actual audience. And so I think it's going to be great. I have really high hopes. I'm really, like you said, we need a lot more for the women's division, but we've seen a lot more than we saw 2-3 months ago. And so
agreed.
I'm really, really happy with the progress. We have 2 matches on the card, TBS title and women's title heading into Full Gear. And then great collision matchup. Great is a stretch, but Chris Statlander and Sheeta are teaming up. The opponents are questionable, but great gowns, beautiful gowns.
I would like to see a 0-hour match, but I will preface that. That's what I'm saying is we don't need to always just throw Athena in there. You know what I mean? I feel like there should be some type of build. Like, I understand it's an AEW pay-per-view. It's not a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. But if that is something that you want Athena a part of, whether it's on the actual main card or on the 0-hour card, what is the build towards that? I mean, we see her and Billy Starks. They're doing great things on Ring of Honor. Why not build up to have them on that 0-hour? Not just, oh, shit, we should probably have another women's match on the card. Here, Athena, go do something real quick. We'll pair you with 5 other people. I don't feel like that's necessary. It's a hodgepodge. Even though Athena goes out there, kicks ass, does her job amazingly, she doesn't deserve that. She deserves better.
The only time they built to it was the Forbidden Door 0-hour, but that was only because of the tournament. And so they had Athena versus Billy. Was it Athena versus Billy, or was Billy injured? But Athena was. I know for a fact Athena was on that 0-hour card. Yes. But that was the only time that they've really built to it. And so 9 times out of 10, she's going to be on the 0 hour. But I do think that, especially as we head into Final Battle, which is right around the corner, there's no reason why whatever that 0 hour match is can't be something that's actually productive.
Right.
So moving forward, Athena and Thunder Rosa have been talking at each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that Thunder Rosa's return should be on on 0 hour, but who knows? Maybe like she'll get up from her Spanish commentary desk and like start scrapping. Who knows?
Okay, Miss Thunder Rosa. I would love to see that. But at the same time, I do wonder if she does go, head to head with Athena, what happens to her? They really had her as almost like the head of the women's division on Collision. You know what I mean? She was in all the marketing stuff. She's been taken off the posters as of recently, but when they first initially announced Collision, she was like that main women's wrestler that was going to be on there. And obviously she hasn't been utilized in that aspect. So I'm wondering, have they had a change of heart? Like, who is your flagship woman for Collision? Is it Chris Statlander? Is it Sky Blue? Is it Julia Hart? Like, who is that HBIC on Collision?
I honestly, if you ask me, I think it's either Chris Statlander or Willow. Those are the people who are always booked for Collision, typically. And so, if you ask me, but also the thing about Thunder Rosa is, I don't know, like, was she not? I think that they made a mistake by putting her on the poster, knowing that she wasn't cleared yet.
Right, I agree.
I think that was the issue. I think that they shouldn't have, but they didn't have any other women because, like, the whole appeal of Collision at that point was showing off faces of people we hadn't seen in a while. Right. So she was the only person who was really on the shelf that they could use, I guess, especially because she was still on the road with them for doing Spanish commentary and everything. Mm-hmm. But I do think that they made a mistake by putting her on they putting her on the branding, knowing that she wasn't clear.
Yeah.
So, like I said, 2024 is going to be very interesting, like from the jump for the women's division, because you're going to have, it looks like a lot of faces that we haven't seen are going to be folded back in. You have Thunder Rosa, looks like Serena Deeb is hanging around again. Jamie Hayter is looking to come back. So it's a lot of different DMD still has to come back.
DMD needs to testify on if she's a devil or not.
She says she's not, but
I don't believe her.
At this point, I feel like there's a lot of secrets that are going to be revealed at Full Gear. Like, we're looking for the devil, and then we're also looking for this mystery signing. We're going to get to that, but there's a lot of secrets. It's a lot. I will say, as far as like a build goes, I think this is the best build to a pay-per-view that AEW has done in a while.
Yes, I agree.
Like the pay-per-views themselves always hit, but the build to Full Gear has been really great. And so I was excited. Like, I'm actually legitimately excited to like be, live. Moving on, we had a promo. Miro is still mad at his wife. They are still arguing in yet another wrestling promotion over a man.
Lord. The men do no offense. The men do not deserve this much attention, Miro.
He said she bring the best and worst out of herself and she bring the worst out of me. Now, what in the Love and Hip Hop do y'all got going on? The Love and Hip Hop Bulgaria do y'all have going on?
It's been interesting to see CJ Perry and the way that she recruits these wrestlers, right? Like, at first it was Action Andretti. I believe there was someone else in there as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. And now we see Andrade. And it's like, okay, how many people are you going to recruit successfully? You have one so far. You can't run off one client, ma'am. And your husband's over here. He's getting pissed off. He's going to fight your client. Then you're going to have 0 clients.
At first, she was picking people that she knew her husband couldn't beat. But, like, the reason why he just staring from a distance is that he know, like, oh, wow, he can't just squash Andrade.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I cannot stress this enough. And I will say, their WWE run, I missed a lot of that because by then, that was when I really got fed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was when I really got fed up and I was like, I'm not sure if I could do this anymore. Y'all, if y'all can't keep fighting over men in these wrestling promotions, you and your wife can't keep fighting over men in these wrestling promotions. You and your wife cannot keep fighting over men in these wrestling promotions. Miro, you need to get out there, have another meat match or something. I'm really glad that you are fighting Daniel Garcia. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
It will be good.
Awesome. It's going to be incredible. However, if this Bobby Lashley shit happen again, bro, I will be the person petitioning for your release. Both of you.
Not unemployment.
Unemployment. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like that was when I really was like, oh, I don't think I can do this wrestling thing anymore with WWE. When that really was there, I was like, oh no. Don't bring that shit.
Yeah, I do wonder where this is going, right? Do I like it? I don't know yet. I mean, I think Miro is so held up on his wife. Like, relax. We don't need to keep doing this, like you said, in another company. But at the same time, I'm like, what's the point of this? Where are we getting to? Like, what's the end goal here? Because I can't see it at this point.
He needs to be in that Continental Classic. You need to.
He really does.
You need to focus. You need to leave that lady alone and focus.
Cuffing season can wait.
She already cuffed. That's the thing. Like, it's one thing if y'all.
He's trying to recuff her. They're about to renew their vows at Worlds Collide. Together. Their worlds will collide once again.
Y'all already together. Good God. Anywho, moving on. The boys are back. The boys are back. The boys are back. The boys are back. That was that was a good classic from High School Musical.
It sure was.
But we had Young Bucks versus Pinto El Zero Miedo and Commander. This was beautiful. Amazing.
Would you call it cinema?
Cinema. This was incredible. The Bucks are back. They're assholes. They were just mere miles away from their home of Rancho Cucamonga, California. They were in Ontario, and they did not disappoint. They are heels again. They cheat to win. You know they don't miss versus the Luchadors. Penta is one of their wrestling soulmates. It was beautiful, down to the most minute details. I have only positive things to say. Amazing.
No complaints on this one either. Very good match. The Sassy Men Apocalypse really is being led by the Young Bucks. I mean, they're heels again. I feel like
Matt Jackson specifically.
Yes, I feel like they do some of their best work when they're heels, in my opinion. They have a way with sassiness that I can just appreciate. And then you see them with Kenny, and like Kenny is just like, you know, so sweet and just, you know, for the good of the people. And they're like, man, whatever.
I think it's really funny when we get to that segment. I think that's really funny because you get to it and Kenny's all, hey.
Kenny is shirtless, by the way. I feel like we need to, because Kenny was not shirtless last week.
Listen,
okay, this is giving, the left side picture is giving evolution. Okay,
yeah, it really was, especially with like Jericho and the long hair.
Yes.
All the lines in the sand. This is what I heard. Lemmy in my head. I heard evolution of history. Yeah.
Why is Paul White in the back?
Because he can't be in the front. They can't see. They can't see. And I feel like he's tall enough to where you can see him over.
It looks like his head is on top of Kenny's.
This was very much Evolution Blues Brothers like type of. I don't know, like that entrance. It really it threw me off immediately.
It really did.
Like, this clip was from the beginning of Dynamite, and so I was like, "What the hell they got going on? And why is Kota Ibushi in a 3-piece suit?"
Kota showing up and showing out. I know that's right.
The vest always said, "Listen, Kenny called me once every other month to pull up."
Said, so I'm gonna dress good,
and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show up, and
show out.
Then after, you know, Lexi, also shout out to Lexi there. I think that she's grown considerably
Yes.
as an interviewer and everything that she does over the past year. And like, she's just been incredible. But she asked the Bucks why they cheated. They said, Matt Jackson said, I heard what all y'all was saying on the internet. Talk about Young Bucks ain't this, Young Bucks ain't that. Young Bucks don't care no more. Young Bucks is mid. Young Bucks is this okay. I'ma be the villain. I'ma be the bad guy.
You know, this man sure does like to use these social media websites. First, it was Tumblr. He was all in the Tumblr threads looking at what the girlies were saying. Now he's on what I would presume is Twitter, reading tweets. Sir, you too deep in the internet.
He don't talk to us about it. But you know what? Beyonce do the same thing. Beyonce do the same thing. She don't tell us until you pay half of your mortgage to like show up to one of her shows, and then she'll start talking about all the shit she's been hearing on the internet. And you know what? I gotta respect that marketing strategy. I gotta respect it. The Young Bucks said they don't come out the house for free no more. They're a very rich bitch like me. They're very rich. Very rich. They do not come out the house for free. And so, yeah, he said, yeah, I'm going to be the villain. Y'all think we were the bad guy? Y'all been on the internet talking about us being the bad guy? I'm about to show y'all a bad guy. I said, oh, my God. That's what I'm talking about, Young Bucks, a.k.a. Matt Jackson and Nick, the A-Man corner. Then Kenny comes out, hey, man, come on now. Can we talk? Nick is like, oh, I hope you know, like, we don't have a problem with you. It's just Jericho. Matt said, fuck all that. We got problems with everybody. Everybody. You and everybody associated with you. Like I said, oh my gosh. Remember, I think I said on the first episode here, think of the messiest bitch you know. It's a man named. It is. It 100% is. This was beautiful. And then like the way I tried to screen capture it, but it doesn't work unless like it's a GIF. But the way that Matt Jackson lunged after Jericho after he turned his back, tell me that it don't remind you of after Pumpkin spit on the
yes. Let me find out Matt Jackson is on his Hulu. He watching Flavor of Love recaps.
It was just like when she said, smack me, bitch.
He been watching his Flavor of Love.
Cinema. That like the way that he grabbed. Oh, wait a minute. I said, oh my gosh, I was in here kicking my feet up. You can't beat that, guys. This was awesome. This was incredible. And one thing about it, two things for sure, Kenny Omega ain't never missed when these pick a partner matches versus the Young Bucks. The last two times it happened, both matches ended up being two of the greatest tag team matches of all time. Of all time. Not just in AEW, not just in New Japan, but greatest tag matches of all time. So, yeah. It's about to get popping, guys. If you hear one voice above all others in that ring, it's me. It's me. Moving on. Oh, the actual street fight. Oh,
okay.
I will say, first of all, great setup.
Yes.
By the way, I think that they set the ring up very nicely with the props and everything. Like, even for people who don't play video games like me, like, I feel like I understood kind of what was going on from that. Mm-hmm. So very good job. Very good job on that. The entrances.
Can we talk about the fits?
Yeah.
So I am not familiar with this video game, right? See Takeshita come out in a snakeskin blazer and pirate pants, and I was and a patch on his eye, and I said, "What is going on?"
I thought he was just like Rocky Romero for a second.
Then you have Kyle Fletcher in a crop top, which I feel like more men in professional wrestling.
Hey, wake it up, wake that tea up.
I think it's a nice look, very nice look. Brian Cage had on the Sega tights. Hobbs has on what he always has on. I didn't get the tie-in there. I guess he said, "Look, I'm a big man in this match. I don't have to be on theme." I know that's right.
A lot of these, respectfully, a lot of these video games don't be having black people, so I don't think they accounted for him, to be honest.
And then you have Paul White, Chris Jericho in their Evolution suits from earlier still. Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega in their actual gear.
Kenny got new tights made. Kota said, "I'm with him." He said, "I'm with him." I'm with him. That go to Lovers entrance. I wish I'm gonna have to go back and screenshot it, but edit Jericho out of the picture because that was just perfect. I just move, get out the way, and I'm not even a Jericho hater. It was just for that moment.
You're ruining a good moment.
Don't bring that ghetto here. We don't want your ghetto here. No. But I will say, Paul White is a worker. He's a worker through and through.
We didn't need him in this match.
I'm gonna be honest, I can't even get mad at him being in the match because he was barely in the match. It's remember
what was the point though? I mean,
when they needed just somebody to occupy Hobbs for a minute. So while they got the rest of the shit in. I'm not saying that it should have been him, but I'm just saying that all I'm saying is that he was in the match. He was such a non-factor to the point where it didn't take anything.
They were checking on him longer than he actually wrestled for. Can we note that?
2 chops, a choke slam, and went to the back. I said, we're bringing real wrestlers back. That's right. All these people doing it for the love of the game. Not me. Not me. Nope. And went to the back. He took that slam onto that car, rolled off and laid there. That's the easiest money I know he ever made.
You would have thought his name was Miss Keisha, girl. Miss Keisha. Miss Keisha.
I'm telling you, I gotta respect it. Kyle Fletcher be taking the craziest bumps whenever he with these people.
Insane.
I think he looked awesome in that match, though. That power driver through that sign on the chairs was nuts.
Yes.
And for Kota Ibushi to get up first, he acted like Mox when he started bleeding. Hey, ready to go! Woo!
Kota, he can't be caught slipping in a match with Kenny. Are you joking?
I feel like he's one of those people, and he's so scary because he doesn't really hit his groove into the match in a match until he's been dropped on his head at least one good time.
Is that why he brought out the shovel at the end?
Yes. He thought he didn't know the match was over. He said, "I was ready to go.
I'm ready for the next episode. We in Cali. I'm ready for the next episode."
He said, "I'm ready, guys." What else? Kenny Omega, just the man that you are.
Can we talk about that move from Brian Cage to, was it Kota?
Yeah, I think it was
yes, through the table. Or was it Chris Jericho? I can't remember, but Jesus. That was a sharp one as well. Very good.
Ushi on that bike. Listen,
Kota.
He took forever to get on the bike, and then he just ran hey, everybody!
There are such iconic moments that happen down that ramp. You think about Eddie Kingston bloody carrying that gas tank at Double or Nothing a couple years ago. Now you have Kota Ibushi riding a bike down the ramp.
I will say that this is one thing that I'm really happy about, with AEW, is just because I had to remind myself today, check your privilege sometimes, because you saw how the amount of people that were on this episode and the amount of ways that these names should never go together, but some way that they do is absolutely insane. We're very spoiled, I feel sometimes as wrestling fans. And to be able to have these types of matches, whether it's a street fight, Anarchy in Arena, or Stadium Stampede, Texas Death Match, to be able to have these type of matches regularly on TV, on mainstream TV, that wasn't a thing a couple years ago. And so this is insane. And why is Kota Ibushi and Big Show on the same team?
This is if you were playing a wrestling game and you have a multi a multi-person team and it chooses the people for you. That's what this was kind of like. Like the gaming system chose the team.
You know what? If wrestling companies could actually get along, a Multiverse of Madness game would slap so hard. Like a multiverse, like, oh my God.
I do have to ask, where does this leave the Don Callis family? The Don Callis family was talking a lot of shit before this match.
Hopefully
they thought they had it in the bag.
Hopefully it leads them to hell. They gotta go. And it's not even just them, it's that him. He must go. I will say.
They said he looked like a hot dog on Collision.
Oh.
Yep. Someone in the crowd said, Don Callis, you look like a hot dog.
Wow.
That person needed to be there tonight.
Yes.
Every show.
This is how I feel about the Don Callis family. I do think for some people it's helped, and I think for some people it's hurt. I think Takeshita needs to pivot soon.
Yes.
I think because he came in hot. Like, I feel like Takeshita and Swerve were on the same level. At when Takeshita first joined the Don Callis family, they were neck and neck for me as like for the guys who are going to be that next heir apparent to move into the world title picture. Like they were neck and neck. But for some reason, even after pinning Kenny Omega twice, Takeshita is no longer at the same level as Swerve. Swerve has surpassed him. And it's not because of talent, because Takeshita is equally just as talented. It's just because like Don Callis became the focal piece instead of the mouthpiece.
Agreed.
And so I think Takeshita needs to pivot soon. Now, I do believe it's helped Hobbs. And I do believe that it's helped Kyle Fletcher with Mark Davis being injured. So maybe like they need to, I don't know, but Takeshita needs to get out like soon. Very soon. But what will help him is he's almost guaranteed to be in that Continental Classic. And so that's going to be a great way for him to pivot. And an easy way for him to pivot. And because at the end of the day, when we first met Takeshita on AEW TV, he came last summer, Punk, MJF, Danielson, Omega, all injured. Everybody was gone. And then this random guy comes in from Japan like every other week and was putting on bangers and before he even opened his mouth. So the talent is definitely there. I just want him far away from the Don Callis family. Not gonna hold you at this point.
Thanksgiving might not be that well in the Don Callis family household. Do we expect to see them involved in the Young Bucks versus Jericho and Omega match?
100%.
I mean, they lost tonight. I feel like they'll want their karma. They want to get their karma out.
If the Young Bucks somehow align themselves with Don Callis, then we cooking with grease. Then we cooking with peanut oil.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Unless Don is literally stepping out and letting the Young Bucks lead, I don't want that because.
But the thing is, I think that's exactly what happened. At this point, like the way that they seem to be rebuilding the Young Bucks, they doing a lot of talking. So I don't think even if they did align themselves with Callis, like Matt Jackson is back in his messy bitch era, and nobody gonna overtalk him. So.
That's true. I mean, everybody else in this group, other than Hobbs, has been quiet. I mean, we haven't heard Takeshita speak recently. We haven't heard Kyle Fletcher speak. So it's like, okay, we need more than Hobbs and Callis speaking. So I think Matt Jackson maybe being involved in the mix. I can appreciate that. I just think Don needs to take a step back. That's all.
Absolutely, 100%. They made Kyle Fletcher like earn his way into the group. I said, "Ooh." Now why he gotta? Now everybody else just woke up in here, but he gotta fight for his spot. Ooh, okay. I see how we do now. Honestly, yeah, I think the perfect way to blow this off is put Takeshita in that Continental Classic, play him in the same block as Kenny Omega, let them have their rematch, but through the tournament, put the shit to bed, and let's move on. Moving on. And then we had the crying.
Can we talk about the Wardlow promo?
Oh, yes. Another Wardlow promo saying that he's going to kill Max.
Yes. And at the end, we saw the devil, which now people are thinking that Wardlow is the devil. I don't think so.
It's not Wardlow. It's not Wardlow. I don't think it's Wardlow, but I mean, I could understand if it was Wardlow.
I don't see Wardlow like, no offense to him, and we know the girlies love Wardlow, but I don't see Wardlow leading a group at this point in his career. I see him being a part of a group, but I don't see him leading a group as the devil.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that would be so deflating.
Yeah.
In the arena, like if you take that mask off and it's Wardlow, oh my god. Oh my god. But you gotta think, before MJF left, Wardlow squashed him. He ruined his life. He really did. I will say. He
Just
really
went downhill.
And more people should talk about that part, but whatever. Then he comes back all out as the devil, but also at the same time, like, you know, Wardlow had been struggling and has continued to struggle, I think, ever since, even while winning the TNT belt twice.
It's the haircut.
It was like Samson. He
I'm telling you, the haircut really took his momentum away. I feel like the girlies aren't as loud for Wardlow anymore. They really aren't.
The girlies aren't as loud for a lot of people anymore.
Yeah.
And that, including him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear it. You could hear because this is the thing. People are like, oh, yeah, you did the Elite. Like, the Elite have been playing back fiddle this year. The Elite have been playing back fiddle this year for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is to push a lot of people to the front.
Exactly.
Now, we are learning that now that fans have even a sniff, like that the Elite are coming back in a prominent way. The Bucks, Kenny Omega and Hangman, all as like individual acts, and really about the business is picking up, but not for you. Because I will say they really gave a lot of y'all chance to fly, to, you know, to really see if you could get over. Some of you can't. I'm not saying that you're not over, but you're just not as over as you think that you are without help. And because I'm gonna be honest, the MJF, them crowds getting muter and muter every week, and nobody.
Well, I mean, the promos with MJF are kind of the same every week. I mean, this time it was more of like I'm gonna lower my voice and talk promo.
I think it's because, like, how do I say it? He's trying to position himself as the protagonist of AEW, like he's the victim.
Yeah. You
are not a victim.
I mean, when you look at it, when you take a step back and you look at it, technically he is. I mean, he's had these people surrounding him attacked, right? Like, me, oh my, you know, woe is me. My friends who I teamed with last week got attacked after I tagged with them, right? I get that kind of that aspect. He'd be the victim. It was his friends, but like,
he didn't have that belt before that,
right?
And also, Adam Cole got injured by running off the stage wrong.
We're not supposed to remember that.
I'm just saying. Here's the thing. My thing is, like, a lot of things are coming back to the light, and we have to be real. I think we should all be real about this MJF title run. I think that to say that he's like bad is like, that's an oversimplification. Like, I think like he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster. However, he works for a work rate company, which means that AEW is a very what have you done for me lately type of place. So no, you can't be Roman Reigns and wrestle once every 3 months. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people are easily going to forget about you, especially when you have the best wrestlers in the world wrestling every week. You have Bryan Danielson with a broken face entering a tournament just because he can. And then doing the Wrestle Kingdom with Okada just because he can. And you, 27-year-old, said, I'm only wrestling every other month. And in between, I'm going to give you bestie segments. In between, I'm going to give you Dave and Buster's.
I mean, you have to think about, too, he also is holding that tag title. That's been a whole nother thing, too. And it's like, I honestly feel like if he didn't have this Ring of Honor title, the tag team titles, I feel like maybe they would be able to put a little bit more energy into his AEW title reign. But the fact that he has the tag team titles, it's kind of like, okay, you have him playing double duty at this point. And what's the point of that?
He's not playing double duty. And this is why I'll tell you why. One, we have to remember they put the tag titles on him because that we're not there yet. they put the tag titles on him because he wasn't getting over as a champion as a solo act. He was in the tag team as world champion, exclusively doing tag team stuff for the better part of about 3 months.
Yeah.
3-4 months. Keep in mind, this is all in the midst of the company doing Forbidden Door, All In, All Out, like introducing Collision, and the world champion was doing a tag team. Which, I mean, I love tag team wrestling. I think it's great, but we're seeing that Cole getting injured was essentially the end of the world. And we've seen like the rushes to pivot. And honestly, then we go to the tag team run. You let him have a handicap match by himself, and you buried one of the only teams in the division that you've actually cared enough to build over the last couple of months, because the tag division on both sides has been kind of It got better with Aussie Open, but then you made them drop the tag team belts to Adam Cole, MJF, first match of All In for this to be the, overarching story. Adam Cole gets injured, and so now you have this guy defending tag team belts by himself. But also at the same time, they're Ring of Honor tag team belts. And you want to know who hasn't profited off this reign at all? Ring of Honor. No Honor Club. No, there have been no Honor Club appearances, no Honor Club matches. MJF hasn't barely. He just went to Rampage for the first time this year. You think he's going to Ring of Honor? Absolutely. And so you have that happening. Ring of Honor has been final battle next month. Has he tweeted about it? Has he talked about it? No, not at all. I just don't. And yes, he's had great matches. Great match with Kenny Omega, amazing. But to be quite honest, it's not there. And now you're the victim of saying like, "Oh, everybody's coming for me. Everybody's coming for me," and like, "I'm so sorry, everybody who's associated with me. Everybody just hates me so much." Boo hoo! When did you become that? You said you was the devil. You said you don't care about nobody. You said grata-ta-ta. Like, who cares? Like, who cares at this point? And Jay White is the only person who's calling you crying. You don't have your belt back,
which is embarrassing. I'm literally thinking about sitting in my seat on Saturday and seeing MJF come out without his title for a title match, and his competitor Jay White brings out his title.
He has not had that title for months. And the thing is, like, that's why I felt like, no, he's not the best AEW world champion. He's the longest reigning AEW world champion, but he's not the best AEW world champion. And to be honest, he's not top 3 for me. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, for as much as this reign, why let's just be real, the AEW championship has not felt important. His challengers sometimes make it feel important, but he actually doesn't make it feel that important. Like, you broke the record. You beat Kenny Omega to break the record, but still don't have your belt. That's crazy to me. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, the fact that he didn't have his belt for that match specifically or afterwards is nuts. Nuts. And anybody who says otherwise, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, and people, other companies do it, and it's trash then. Belt stealing gimmicks rarely work.
Yeah.
And the only thing that this one has done, it just made Jay White look like a superstar.
I mean, the closing of the show was not a good look. It really wasn't. You have your competitors who are going up against MJF, and we would assume Samoa Joe attack MJF before the title match Saturday, and then you have Jay White, who is also challenging MJF for a title on Saturday. I mean, are we going to see all the gold on Bullet Club after Saturday at this point?
We should, but we're not. But whenever, that means that 9 times out of 10, they're going to have Max win both matches, which I think is a terrible idea. Maybe even if you keep the world championship on him, it's time for him to drop the
100%. 100%.
Because, like, especially for Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor needs a huge reset for Final Battle. It needs to be a huge reset. And it really needs to establish Ring of Honor as its own thing. The only division that doesn't need to be reset for the most part is the women's division, because But if you haven't seen the Ring of Honor Women's Division is fantastic. They have storylines, great segments, great matches, a lot of different faces. That women's division, solid. Everything else needs to go back to the drawing board. Clearly, they're going to do it for the TV belt. It needs to happen for the tag belts too. But just my piece. I will say the match is going to be great because MJF and Jay White are great wrestlers. Like that's
I agree.
So the match is going to be great, but we do need to be very real about this title reign. And I think it's only frustrating to me because everybody else on the roster is only getting better. Like everybody's only getting better. You got Swerve is getting better. Like I said, once Takeshita pivots, it's a wrap. And especially once this tournament hits, and if it's really stacked with all-star heavy hitters, the discrepancies between one and the other are going to be like outnumbered. Because if you have the best wrestlers in the world wrestling every single week and getting over with the crowd and doing everything, like, what's the point of you?
Right.
And I don't know.
I think it'll definitely be interesting to kind of see the next steps of MJF after Saturday. If he does retain, I'm interested to see who is next in line to challenge him for that championship. Who is going to take that title off of MJF at this point? I mean, honestly, like you said, he's the longest reigning champ. Who is going to step up to the plate and dethrone him?
It should be somebody under 35. That's what I do know.
Yeah, because I agree.
Honestly, like, Max loves doing these stories like, oh, you were my hero, etc. That's great or whatever. But at the end of the day, somebody took a chance on you as a 26-year-old at the time world champion. And so I feel like in wrestling, it's with as much creative control as like we all know he has, like I feel like it's your duty to like continue to pay that forward. Of like, okay, you say that AEW needs to be putting over more young talent like they did with like DG. Put your money where your mouth is. There's plenty of challengers under 35. Put on another young guy over. I don't know.
Right.
Just that everybody put you over. Omega, Danielson. Like you got put over by all the greats. And so, no, I don't want to see you lose it to some random old guy in another "you were my hero" feud.
Right. Because I've been seeing a lot of people post that picture of him and Adam Copeland lately. And a lot of people are wondering if that's going to be the next route. And I really hope it isn't. I mean, I think Adam Copeland has something going with Christian that could be told for longer than it has been. I think that can really stand the test of time. I don't need him involved in the title picture at this point.
I was going to say, and also like that feud doesn't need a title.
Right.
Like if you really want to have like, you know, the devil versus the rated R superstar, by all means run it. But it doesn't need a title because one, Edge doesn't need a title. The only title I would really ever be interested in seeing him win AEW is the tag titles. That's really about it. I would be interested in that. That's really the only, and this is for me, an Edge head, an Edge truther. That's the only thing I'm really interested in seeing him win. That's it. And so I'm gonna be honest, like we all got heroes, Max. Like that's the thing. Like, and that's it for me. I think like I'm 25. I just know for a fact that 10 years from now, I don't know if all of the Danielsons, the Omegas, the Moxleys, all of these top guys that we know and love, if they have, you know, gone on into the yonder and not wrestling anymore, and this is all that we have at the top of the card, I don't know if y'all gonna get me to be booking flights and trips for these wrestling shows. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I'm not, but I'm damn sure not gonna say I am. I ain't trying to see BFFs when I'm 35. So I can only imagine how the actual old heads be feeling. I don't know. I digress. Moving forward, the real fun stuff.
The real tea.
Earlier today, a couple hours before AEW Dynamite, Tony Khan tweeted AEW has agreed to terms with one of the world's best wrestlers, a pro who is known and respected by virtually every AEW fan. They'll come to LA to sign their contract this Saturday. on pay-per-view at Full Gear. So obviously the wrestling universe handled this very normally. Let's get into it. So there's a lot of thoughts of who it could be. I will say he didn't say anything about gender, didn't say anything about, like if it's a man, if it's a woman or anything like that. Really, it could be anybody. To be honest, it could be anybody. But I do believe that there are reasons to believe it's Monet.
I think it's Monet. I hope it's Monet. But I will say, if it is Monet, I really need Tony to get his shit together when it comes to the women's division, because we can't have 2 matches on the card and have Mercedes Moné under your umbrella of women in the women's division. Like that's not up to par. I mean, you have Toni Storm doing amazing things. You have a TBS champion. You have a AEW women's champion. Even if Mercedes Moné, which I would hope she was in the title picture if she's coming to AEW, even if she's not in the title picture, she should not be on the bench, right? We have seen a lot of talk on Twitter about with Adam Copeland. People are like, oh my God, we haven't seen him wrestle, or we haven't heard anything about him. And I do agree to an extent. I feel like Edge came back. It was amazing. And now it's kind of been like, we'll hear from Adam Copeland on Collision. We'll hear from Adam Copeland on Dynamite. We'll hear from him on Collision again. And it's like, okay, we've heard enough from Adam Copeland. I don't want that to be the same thing for Mercedes Moné. I need her wrestling. That is it.
I think they know that, though. And this is why I have high hopes for this. One, I believe that when it comes to this women's division time conversation, I do think a lot of it is network related. Like I 100%. And the only reason why I believe that is because when I look over at the Ring of Honor women's division and I see what is being booked when there's no TV restrictions or anything, women are the show. And so it makes me believe like there is some type of, obviously not public, but there is some type of rule that there can't be more than one women's match on the card. Because the way that like a lot of what AEW does is very ratings booking, like numbers drawn, like it's very numbers focused. Mm-hmm. And so what I do believe is if they sign somebody like her, I do believe that is the type of catalyst, not just for AEW, but for Warner Brothers Discovery specifically, to ease up on a lot of those restrictions, because she is a proven ratings draw. She is a proven draw specifically for the women's division. So she's a great negotiating piece, I think, for AEW. When you go to a Warner Brothers Discovery and you're doing these renegotiations for TV rights deals and like the constant conversations that they probably have to be in, I think she's a great negotiating piece. And then I think too, I will say, this lady has not talked to us a lot, recently, but the only time she's really popped out and told us something directly, both either implicitly or explicitly, and something wrestling related since her injury, is one, she pulls up to AEW All In with a brand new custom wig on television, and we hadn't seen her. She went out of her way to go to the UK just to be in attendance for All In. That's a huge deal. Which is a huge deal. And then too, a couple weeks ago, about 10 minutes before Dynamite, she goes live in this interview that nobody knows that she's even doing. I still haven't seen it. Afterwards, nobody's seen it. But the only thing that we really get to hear her say is she's going to be around at Full Gear, that she might be around in LA for Full Gear. And then suddenly the video just cuts off and we never see it again. I will say,
I was thinking, was it a fever dream? Did that really happen?
I'm so glad that some of y'all quicker than me and be screen recording stuff, because me, I just be sitting here shocked. I don't be knowing what to do with myself. But so those are the two things that we've gotten directly from her. And then 3, I will say I'm biased. I don't want Mercedes to go back to WWE. It's not because I don't like WWE. It's because, like, one, I feel like as a Black woman specifically, the way that her and Trinity were treated, it never rubbed me the right way. It never really sat right with me. And especially hearing Trinity's interview finally breaking her silence, and she was just like, the way that they made me feel that day. I think a lot of us, like, whether you've ever been in wrestling or not, a lot of Black women, you know what that's like to be really good, really great in your workplace. But to see how, whenever you don't go with what they want you to go with, how you are treated and how they really feel about you. Like, I feel like that's a feeling that I can relate to. That's a feeling that, like, I can personally identify with. Like, I don't need to know all the details. I know that all I know is that when Michael Cole went out there and said they gave up on the, they failed you. Like, I need to know nothing else. I get it. And so, one, I don't want her or Trinity to ever feel like they should be pressured to go back into that situation. But then the second thing is, like, I also don't want her to go back because what I see in Mercedes is something that you don't see in a lot of women stars. Like, a lot of women stars, like, once they get that big contract at that big company, they're good. They're set. There's not really a lot more. I guess once after that, she has that same spirit as a John Moxley, as a Will Ospreay. She has that world beater spirit of just like, no, I don't want to just rest on my laurels. I know a lot of people call me the best in the world, but I'm going to actually go everywhere and earn it. Like, just earn it. And she has that energy, and I think that's why she's the greatest North American women's wrestler of all time. But she wants to be the undisputed greatest of all time. And so I think that hunger, to be honest, like, there's just really nothing left in WWE for her to accomplish, in my opinion. Like, I think that I just want her to eat, whether it's at AEW, whether it's anywhere else, like, I genuinely want her to do all the things that she said she was going to do when she originally went on this world tour. Like, I want her to face everybody, beat everybody, win all the belts. I want essentially a female belt collector era. Mm. That's what I want. Like, that's exactly what I want from her. And I think also, like, especially when you think about her exit from WWE, of how, like, the tag titles were being booked, etc. Like, imagine the type of, I don't know, like, the type of aha that it would be if she turned the AEW women's division into the best women's division in the world. And I truly believe that she can. I believe that if nobody else can, I truly believe that she can. Like, I think she can be the cornerstone for the best division that we've ever seen. And I think that would be, like, one of the greatest accomplishments of her career, which is saying a lot because she has a lot of great accomplishments. But that's just my personal feelings on it. I'm rooting for it to be her.
What are your thoughts on some of the people that are saying it could be Ronda Rousey?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm going home.
I think it was you that said if it's Ronda Rousey, I'm leaving the arena.
I gotta go.
I mean, it is interesting. Ronda is slated to be at the Revolver show tomorrow.
And I'll be there too, and I'll have to talk. We're gonna have to see each other out back. We don't want your ghetto here. Do not come.
I hope it's not Ronda. I really hope it's not.
But one thing about it is, if it is Ronda, I feel like TK gonna learn really quickly that he made a very bad decision. Because,
I mean, even if he did his research on her run in the WWE, I mean, I can't think of one singular time other than maybe when she made her debut that people were like, oh my fucking God, it's Ronda Rousey. She's here. You know what I mean? Like, no, she hasn't had that gravitation from the fans. It's been a lot of booing. It's been a lot of, why is she still here? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, I see someone said, what if it's Mandy Rose? I don't, Mandy is making her money online. She does not need to be.
I would just also be honest. What did that tweet say? One of the world's best wrestlers. Respectfully, Ronda Rousey nor Mandy Rose is in that conversation.
Well, do you have any thoughts? What if it's a male wrestler? Is there anyone that you've kind of thought that maybe TK might have let sign to AEW?
Somebody was saying, this is a very logical opinion, but I will say it's a little too logical for me. I like chaos. That it could be Shibata. Because Shibata's contract with New Japan is no more. It's been like that basically all year, but he's been doing a lot of work, obviously, for both AEW and Ring of Honor. And at the Wrestle Dream Scrum, he flat out said that he'll sign whenever Tony wants him to sign. Like, he's been treated very well in America, and he's enjoyed, being able to wrestle again. Now, if it is Shibata, okay, that'd be cool. I'm a big Shibata mark, by the way. Like, nobody's a bigger Shibata stan than me. But I will say, like, he's already wrestled for AEW so many times to where it's just like, okay. Like, I don't see why
it's anticlimactic.
Yes, like it's just anticlimactic. And I maybe that'll be him introducing him as the second, the second entrant into the Continental Classic, which don't get me wrong. I would love for Shibata to be in that class. Because if I have it my way, I can knock out so many of my dream matches all at once. So please put him in that tournament for the love of God. I'm all for that. However, I think that it should not be. I don't think that AEW should like do these big signing segments for talent under 40, respectfully. For talent over 40. I think it should be specifically for young talent. Like, unless it's like Bryan Danielson, which you've already done. I'm gonna be honest, like, y'all collected all the damn Infinity Stones. Respect, like, you got Kenny Omega, you have Bryan Danielson, you have Adam Cole, like, you have all these people. You got John Moxley, Claudia. You literally have all these Infinity Stones on the roster already. So it has to be somebody big. And especially it's going to be in LA. It's going to be in the Forum. And also a lot of people were saying it would be a really great full circle moment. Because, earlier this year, a lot of people thought it was going to be Mercedes in the Forum.
Yep.
Were let down. I saw some people were like, it's going to be Will Ospreay. Listen, Will Ospreay is still signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling until February. And even if he is going to sign to AEW, I feel like Tony cares too much about that relationship with New Japan, and he should, to ever disrespect them like that while like announcing announcing a talent that is still signed to your company before like their contract is up.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, that's something you do to your enemies, not to your friends, not to people that you work with on a regular basis. Like, AEW and New Japan's relationship is very strong. And so I don't think that would be disrespectful, to be quite honest. And also, Will Ospreay would never disrespect New Japan like that. Like, I don't think so. Like, that would be very, and it would be unnecessary. Like, I feel like his signing is going to have buzz, whether it happens in February, March, whatever. I don't know. And I'm being honest, it could be like somebody like Sami Callihan. Good God, I hope not. No offense to him.
I don't.
No offense to him.
I don't think that would garner as much attention as a Mercedes Moné signing, to be honest.
Like, it's in LA. Tony knows what we want. I'm gonna be honest. I don't, as much as that man is online, he knows what we want. And I think he knows that. Especially, it's one thing to like screw over a Dynamite crowd, but you screwed over a Full Gear crowd when everybody done flew in here from here, there, and everywhere to be here. We want results,
right?
And I'm gonna be honest, if I hear bad reputation to that curtain, I'm out of there. I'm out. I will catch the rest from the Airbnb. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think but I do think I do hope it's Moné. I will say.
I hope so too.
And for that girl, that lady, Miss Mams, to be on Twitter right after his retweeting John Cena quote. Oh no. Oh no. I say, you just playing with us. You just playing with us. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I will say though, I have gone to several events this year in hopes of seeing the Queen. if I finally look out, it's a wrap. Y'all gonna hear me from the rooter to the tutor. Do you hear me? I will say I kind of saw her a little bit at All In, but that don't count. That don't count. Mm-mm. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Any predictions going into Saturday?
Oh, okay. I do think Hangman wins this one. I think he should. I think they should go 1-1 and then have their blow off. I think Orange Cassidy wins. I think MJF wins, child. Now I don't know if he wins that 0 hour match though, but I do think he retains the actual world championship.
I want the Guns to win. I feel like the Guns need some gold on them. It's been a minute, and I mean, the only thing that I can think of is if MJF takes Samoa Joe up on his offer and Samoa Joe is his partner, the Guns might not win. Because Samoa Joe, you saw that match tonight, that squash match.
Mm-hmm.
They got to watch out.
Yeah, the Guns, I think that they would be a good call, especially like they'll actually run Ring of Honor. They'll actually do the Honor Club shows. So I think it's a great thing for Ring of Honor to put them in that position, but who cares at this point about Ring of Honor? It looks like because we just doing whatever, clearly. Who else? Oh, the women's title match. I am hoping. I think Sheeta retains. I really hope that. I think that Sheeta retains, but I do think that Mariah interferes. I just don't think it goes the way that she plans. I think it's going to be hilarious, though. I do think that it's going to be great, and I think the actual match is going to be great. I will say they've done a really great job. These last couple pay-per-view feuds, I will say now, having one women's match on the card has not been fun. However, these last couple pay-per-view feuds, whatever match that they have had on the card, they've been building it really well. Because Chris Statlander and Julia Hart was built very well.
Yes.
Very well. And even this feud that they've been having right now, like this three-way, we now know it's going to be Chris Statlander, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. This has been built very well. And then I would say the Sheeta Tony stuff has been built very well. And also the fact that there are other women surrounding the feud that you might, we're probably going to see Willow pop up at some point. We're going to probably see, Mariah pop up at some point. So I think that's exciting. I hope Chris retains, but I'm also not mad if she doesn't.
I want to see Julia win, to be honest.
I would not be mad at them having Julia win the title. And also, like, if she pins Sky and then, like, Chris doesn't get pinned. Because I will say, how do I say it? AEW needs more women in the world title picture.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like right now, the TBS title picture, they got enough challengers and stuff to be, I think that Chris Statlander has done everything that needs to be done with that title. And honestly, like, she really elevated that belt and she's just done so much with it. She's basically beaten everybody. I think she's above that belt right now. Like, I think, it's time for her to move into that world title picture.
Agreed.
So I would not be mad at all if, she drops and, like, Sky takes the pin. Like somebody said, this is Chris's 15th defense on Saturday. Like, that's crazy. You've already defended the belt. And these were not squash matches. And actual matches, like, her work rate has been absolutely insane. Like, that's why I say, like, she was the perfect person to put the title on. Incredible. Who else? Oh, I think that the Young Bucks win. This will be the first time they've ever beaten Kenny, but I think that they win because
it's on Dallas.
Hey,
some interference there. I think they will win because of the interference, to be honest.
And so I think that I do think that who else is on this card? Oh, the Sting team wins. Sting should go undefeated forever.
Honestly. I definitely think. I mean, this is Adam Copeland's first pay-per-view match. I definitely don't see them having him take the L here.
Yeah. So,
and like you said, it's Sting's retirement tour. Like, I don't see them, being like, okay, Sting, we're just gonna give you the L. I don't see that happening. But I mean, where does this leave Christian Cage and his little patriarchy? Like, are they going to be done with his shenanigans so he can go ahead and face off against Adam Copeland? Like, a lot of these matches on the card, I'm like, okay, what happens next, right? Like, we can pick a winner all day long, but like, what's the long-term storytelling gonna look like?
I think a lot of these guys are going to go into the tournament, and it's going to free up a lot of extra space. Like, it's going to free up a lot of extra space because, like, I will say that's also the cool thing about, like, if you watch New Japan regularly, the G1, if you just go straight off the schedule, so many storylines will come out of it to the point where, like, you don't have to really book anything else. And so I do think that the tournament is going to help. It should help a lot of, like, streamlining stuff. And, like, this is, while you have all the all-star players, like, in the tournament, this would be a great time for the guys who aren't in the tournament. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think that Christian or Adam Copeland should probably be in it. Maybe not both of them for sure. Maybe one or the other. But, like, honestly, I don't think either of them have to be in it. I think that's one of the great non-tournament storylines that I think that they should,
agreed,
keep, pursuing. So I think that a lot is going to make sense after Full Gear. It's just, you just reminded me, I got to go see Ric Flair. That's going to be really terrible. Ric Flair's going to definitely be there.
Well, that's a damper.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Those are my predictions. What are yours?
I pretty much agree with all your predictions. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with the women's matches. I am eager to see what the fallout is if Julia wins, if, Sky Blue does decide to kind of change her mind and, associate with a new champion, and where that leaves Willow. And then on the other side of things, Toni Storm has had this incredible character change. And now with Mariah May stepping into the mix, I am eager to see, even if Toni Storm doesn't pick up the win here against Shida, is she still going to be in that title picture? Will we see Chris move up to, challenge Shida? Like, where exactly will that leave everyone at? I think, like I said earlier, I think that's kind of like my main thing is, okay, I have these predictions, but what's going to happen after that, right? Should be interesting.
And then if that lady gets signed, man, listen, I will say, I think that would actually be a really good spot for Toni. Like, Mercedes versus Toni, I think is a really great matchup. I think it's a great matchup, especially for this moment in time. Like, this isn't the same Toni who, had drink splattered all over her in WWE. Like, this is a real rock star. And I will say, I love that even like with the inclusion of Mariah, they've been reminding people exactly who the fuck Toni Storm is. Like, she's not one of them.
And too, the way I think about it, if they do decide, well, first of all, if they sign Mercedes Moné, right, they can always go about it as with Toni Storm as the self-proclaimed Hollywood star versus an actual Hollywood star in Mercedes Moné. I mean, I feel like it sells itself.
Absolutely. Like, Monet says she's a world beater. Like, I've been there, done all that. Toni Storm has done that too, NXT UK Women's Champion, Mae Young Classic winner, World of Stardom champion, 5-star Grand Prix winner. Like, she was all the stuff that Mercedes said she wanted to do in Japan. Toni's already done it. 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. So she's conquered the US, she's conquered the UK, she's conquered Japan, she's conquered, like, Australia, and she's younger. Yeah, she's 28. So the story sells itself. I think that would be a great potential first challenger. Having Ryan there, like, the Stardom connection, and I think it also opens doors for potential partnerships and stuff. So, like I said, money really would change everything. I think, like, just a world of possibilities will open up.
Right. So
that's where we are, folks. We are couple days from Full Gear. It is 11:41 p.m. here, and I have not packed. And I have a flight in what, 4 or 5 hours? Yeah, I gotta be to the airport in like a couple of hours, and so that's fun. You know, that's me though. That's me. I will say, like, I will pack at the last minute, But we're heading to Full Gear, folks. It's gonna be a great weekend. Gonna have content for you, some fun stuff. Oh my gosh, Kota Ibushi just got the All Elite graphic.
Kota. Look at him showing up and showing out. Now he could be with his boo.
Wait. Oh my god. I'm so That was a live reaction, by the way. That was a live reaction, guys. That was a live reaction.
Oh, Kota.
I'm about to put it up. Hold on. Bam!
Wow. Love to see it.
Oh my god!
The Golden Lovers are reunited officially under the AEW umbrella.
It's a wrap. When I say I'm never shutting up, guys, obviously he's had AEW in his bio for the longest, but I am never shutting up. Never shutting up. Oh my god.
We can end this on a happy note.
Yes, we can. So follow us on everything. Where can the people find you?
Yes, you can find Wrestling Wind Down at WWDCAST. If you are a bad bitch for Daniel Garcia, for Eddie Kingston, or if you want a custom order, they open up first week of December. You can follow us on our shop.wrestlingwinddownlv.com and get those. And we'll be at Full Gear, and yeah, it'll be a great time.
And you can find me at Lyric Wrestling on the Twitters and the Instagram. You can subscribe to my YouTube. Lyrics content. There's going to be something super fun on it tomorrow. I can't hint to what it is, but it's going to be a big interview I'm doing that's coming out tomorrow. Super exciting. I will be flying a lot tomorrow, but I will be at Revolver. I will be at the Collision/Rampage on Friday, and I will be at Full Gear. So lots of fun time. If you're in the area, please come say hello. But until next time, we'll catch you later for the Dynamite Book.
Close it up. Close the book.